Good afternoon, my fellow repairers of the breach. My name is John Ashworth. I am the Executive Director of the Lynching Sites Project of Memphis, Tennessee. We seek to know the stories of men and women who were lynched in a terror campaign. And that terror campaign was launched to maintain an inhumane wealth creation system. There is a direct connection between that terror campaign that went from the end of the Civil War up until 1960s. And there is a direct connection between why we are here today and between that campaign. The work that we do was inspired by the words of Ida B. Wells, who said the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth on them. And so for just a moment, I want to turn the light of truth on it, and I want to encourage all of you to take direct, nonviolent action. You've already enumerated what the problems are with poverty and disfranchisement. But understand that that system, that poverty that we go through, that disfranchisement that we have, it is there large, it has a great deal to do with voter suppression that is supporting all of that.
All right, take it plain. Right.
The roots of disfranchisement and subsequent poverty is grounded in the struggle for a more perfect union. And this struggle continues today. And it's absolutely fitting that we should be standing here in front of that building right over there to my left that was founded and constructed on the backs of enslaved people.
Yep. Yeah. Make it plain.
That building was built using enslaved people and using prison labor.
Shame.
Fast forward 122 years, that was in 1847. Here we are 172 years later. What has changed? I submit to you, not much. Enslaved people were inadequately fed, clothed, housed, and never compensated for their labor. Workers today are underpaid and can barely afford food, clothing, and shelter for themselves and their families. Prison labor, here's an interesting statistic for you. There are more people performing mandatory, essentially unpaid hard labor in America today than there were in 1830. But here we are, we're protesting, not for the right that this country was founded on, but we are rather here to make that right a reality. Wealth for the very few is an idea that has been around for a very long time. This country went to war over that idea that there was a class born to rule and another class born to serve. That idea is still alive and well. It took a 4-year war and the loss of over 600,000 people to prove that that idea had no merit then, and it has no merit now. That war was followed by a 100-year reign of terror, of lynching of over 4,000 U.S. citizens to reinforce the idea of a ruling class in a country founded on the principle that all men are created equal and have certain inalienable rights. Those rights are in alignment with the Great Commission. We are our brother's keeper. Yes. Dr. King, in his final prophetic mountaintop speech, gave us a vision of the beloved country, a more perfect union, poetically described by the prophet Isaiah in the 11th chapter and the 6th verse. In that day, the wolf and the lamb will live together. In that day, the leopard will lie down with the baby goat. The calf and the yearling will be safe with the lion, and a little child will lead them. So what is the truth? So what is the truth that we look at today? The wolf and lamb cannot live together so long as millions are without health care. The leopard and the baby goat cannot lie down together without there being a livable wage for all. The calf and the yearling cannot be safe with the lion when housing is not affordable. A little child cannot lead them when all the wealth is concentrated at the top. And so today, my friends, I say to all of you, whether you're on the mountaintop dreaming or whether you've been pushed to the margins with non-livable wages, with your families being caught up in an unjust criminal justice system, we have work to do. And what exactly is that work? We must hold those that are currently in office accountable, which is what you're doing today. We must vote ourselves, and most importantly, we must get those around us to go vote. Every problem that I have just enumerated starts and ends with an elected official. There is no problem that you face, there is nothing in your life that is not in some way controlled or affected by an elected official. And let me just share this with you. In the last presidential election, 62.9 million people voted for the current administration. 65.8 million voted for the opposing candidate. Now here's where your work comes in addition to holding those accountable. In that election, 71.2 million did not go to the polls. And I'm going to close in just a moment, and before I do, I want to give you a message that I want you to take back to that 72 million that decided to stay home. As I say, we must, and once we get them in office, we must hold them accountable to do the right thing, to reform the criminal justice system, to assure a livable wage, to ensure adequate housing. In a representative form of government, every aspect of your life and that of your succeeding generations, and I want you to remember that, in every aspect of your life is affected by an elected official, either directly or by someone that they appoint. So, this is a message I want you to take to the 72 million who did not vote. If you are bored and disgusted by politics and don't bother to vote, you are in effect voting for the entrenched establishment of the two major parties, who, please rest assured, are not dumb and who are keenly aware that it is in their best interest to keep you disgusted and bored and cynical, and to give you every reason to stay at home doing one-hitters and watching MTV on primary day. By all means, stay home if you want to, but do not kid yourself. And I will tell you another word I want to put there. But do not kid yourself that you are not voting. In reality, there is no such thing as not voting. You either vote by voting or you vote by staying home and tacitly doubling the value of some diehard's vote. We are here today to send a message to the powers that be in this capital, in every capital in this country, in the capital in Washington, in the city halls, in the county governments. You either do the right thing or we the people, we will send you home packing. Thank you.